Hi, I'm Bob Hand, and for my SAL 603 project, I looked at if Team USA would actually win more medals or how they're doing historically when new events were added to the Olympics, and does that mean success for Team USA? The Olympics are keep on adding new events such as surfing, uh, skateboarding, sport climbing, because they're trying to build a younger audience. And will that actually these sports equal success for Team USA down the line? The influx in sports has been pretty seen. The Winter Olympics have increased from 46 to 109 events since 1988 Calgary, and the Summer Olympics have increased from 221 to 339 events since 1984 LA. I picked those dates, but because they were North American games, but also that would be 10 games from the most recent games in Beijing and Tokyo. By picking a big range of things, one of the hardest parts was data collection for this project. There isn't a sports reference page for the Olympics, so I actually used Olympia.org and used Beautiful Soup from Python to web scrape it. It was a little bit tough to bring in that stuff because of changing, had to change some formats and frames later, but I'm going to go through kind of the web scraping process from Beautiful Soup and what I use there to bring in a lot of this data. Here is my Python Jupyter notebook. So I opened up my Jupyter notebook and I loaded all the packages we normally load in the class, from putting out every line, the pandas, the NumPy, and the visualizations. Then I went to this, and then I looked at the web scraping thing and worked to get this one, which would basically import Beautiful Soup and import the pandas. Now, in terms of this, a lot was trying to figure out what on the page on Olympia was the right page I needed. So I needed to bring in the medal page from every games to figure this out. So by using this string at olympia.org.additions, I figured out, I made a loop. I worked with the professors to make a loop that would run and pull everything in. So even though it was new data, it would pull in all the Summer Olympic data as one and go from there. I also, in a separate data, pulled in all the Winter Olympics data. And to run this loop is what I had worked with professors on. I figured out that 42, 43, 44 was what Olympia called each Olympic. So when we brought it in, we could use that change, since they called it everything else, kind of medal table or additions and whatever that number was, and bring it in. So as you could see, 42 was the 1984 games, and 62 was the 2022 Beijing games. Rename the columns to get country gold, country silver, and country bronze, since this would later come into play. I needed to figure out what events the U.S. won. Part of this was also figuring out that since they have USA, since they do have like USA, Japan, Germany, they had everything down on the 3-digit country code, so it would make it easier to be like, this would be equal to USA. I would then make each Olympic their own database, so that Tokyo, and that would just, using again the number 61, 59, whatever they had used, to label that as a database, so I knew that I would be working what database I could look at, and if I could run, that if there was a certain amount of Tokyo medals, where there would be Rio medals. And then that was my next thing I had to do was also then convert all these to list. So I did that. I converted all the Olympics to a list. And then I added a new event column. So basically I added a new event column to every Olympics, saying that it was false, that there was a new event. And then once I did a formula that basically ran the events of, like, for example, the events of Tokyo through Rio. And if it was a new event, it would come up true. And if it was a old event, it would come up false. I also used then I used group by to make some visualizations, such as pulling out the country gold in Tokyo for each country, um, and I think I had to use group by and stack because one of the things that was coming up with my data that was kind of confusing was that the data wasn't really reading as numbers, so it wasn't as easy to use group by as it had been in class, because I had to kind of try to make the Python like read all my data as numbers. My conclusion was that Team USA has been taking advantage of winning some medals in new events. Just looking at Tokyo against Rio, they won actually 13% of their overall medals in Tokyo in new events. 5 gold, 4 silver, and 5 bronze. Hold on. I'm going to correct that. 5 gold, 6 silver, 4 bronze, but 13 total medals. Yeah, 13% of their total medals, over 15 medals in all, were from new events that were added. So they had a really good success rate there. So you hope as like events like breakdancing and ski mountaineering might be added to the Olympics, that Team USA might be able to do that. Also going forward in the Olympic movement, a lot of things is a mixed team event, which could be good for the USA. You know, they've had some success there because they have strong women's team and strong men's team for the Olympics. So that's my presentation. Enjoy SAL 603 and learning Python.